So watching playoff football this weekend, it made me go back, Google search, and read trade deadline winners and losers. Trade deadline winners and losers.
Okay.
Some of the losers included the Patriots, who stood pat. Along with notables Tampa Bay, Denver, and Pittsburgh. Denver's the 1 seed. The Patriots won yesterday. Pittsburgh made the playoffs. Tampa Bay obviously didn't. Winners at the trade deadline included the Indianapolis Colts. Winners at the trade deadline included the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. Well.
Jalen Phillips played 52 snaps yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see his stat line?
Well, it wasn't on a box score because he wasn't in it. But
he wasn't in it.
I don't know if
he didn't register a stat.
Did he have a pressure that doesn't get registered in those things? But
Jacksonville got praised for getting Jacoby Myers, and he was good down the stretch for them. Definitely. Mm-hmm. They're out. The Jalen Phillips in 9 games finished with 2 sacks for Philly.
Yep.
Green Bay got praised for their all-in move. When you go all in, this is part of the calculated risk. When you go all in, that means you're putting eggs in a basket, and that basket could include a player that gets hurt. And that's exactly what happened to Green Bay, and it's unfortunate. It's bad luck. But not the all-in move is not the be-all, end-all. It can put you over the top. But strangely, last year, Philly made no trade deadline move, won the Super Bowl. This year, they made 3, right? They got the Carter, the DB from the Jets. They signed Jair Alexander, who later retired. They signed Zadarius Smith at the beginning of the year, who retired. They traded for Jalen Phillips, who had arguable minimal impact here. I mean,
You think they're grumbling a little bit in Philly?
Oh, God.
You think
they were, look, I get that their team let them down and they were upset at the end of the game. They were booing them when they had a lead in that game. So anyway, is there a lesson here? Maybe, maybe not. It's just that the all-in move isn't this great panacea where it always works.
No,
now,
it's
people
not.
can say I'd like to take a shot at it. And if the Lions this year were 1 player away when it was all said and done, I can understand it. It doesn't feel necessarily like they were 1 player away when it was all said and done. Maybe if they'd stayed healthy, it would have felt that way. But it's some of the winners and the losers at the trade deadline are inverted in terms of the amount of success. When you talk about it, if New England was a loser and Denver was a loser and Pittsburgh was a loser and Philly and Indianapolis were big winners, it's kind of interesting how it played itself out.
Well, in fairness, I mean, the Packers' big move was right before the season began.
It wasn't a trade deadline.
And it was an outstanding acquisition, the one that looked like that's really going to pay off, and then he gets hurt. Mm-hmm. But I guess we can't look at injuries now.
No, we can do whatever we want.
Because what San Francisco did. But
our guy can do whatever he wants. We can do whatever we want.
Same thing works with Indianapolis. I mean, not only did Daniel Jones get hurt, their quarterback, but Anthony Richardson wasn't cleared the whole season. So their backup, which would have been really capable, would have been fun to watch. I probably feel like they could have won a couple of those games if they had somebody better as a backup quarterback than going to Old Man Rivers, among others. And it's unfortunate for them. Their all-in move was to get the Sauce Gardner, and he got hurt and didn't play. So it sucks when your all-in move results in an injury, and what are you left with? You're left with the team that you had before.
And no draft picks.
Yeah, and you have to pray that you didn't give up like actual players to get there. Instead, it's draft capital, which hurts you for the future. But it sucks all around for those teams that they had to go through that. That's why it also sucks for the Lions, that the Lions had to endure what they had to endure. And looking back, all this, the little plays that make a difference. And this is what kills these guys in the offseason, because they're living with it every day. You don't think those guys wish that they had the game against the Vikings back on Christmas Day?
1,000 times yes. Let's get back to your open line calls. Keegan in Waterford. Hi, Keegan.
Hi, what's going on, guys?
Keegan, I don't know if you're not speaking into the phone, but you were really muffled there. Sound like you were underwater.
Is this better?
Much better.
Yes.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? I got a champion chump for you guys.
Great.
My chump, that's a Brandon McManus. I mean, being single-handedly responsible for a 7-point swing. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then my champ is going to be, excuse me, the Bears after they turned around in that after halftime. I mean, Caleb Williams looked elite in that second half. It was absolutely insane.
I give him a ton of credit for orchestrating that comeback. He made a bunch of plays. The fourth down throw, where like the way it felt like it was a sweep the leg of himself. The way he had to contort his body to get that throw off on that fourth down, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
I agree. I don't know what happens in that locker room at halftime to turn him into the animal that he becomes this season. But
I mean, it wasn't. I felt like it happened all in the fourth quarter. They were losing 21-6 going into the fourth quarter, and they still orchestrated the comeback.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not wrong. That's all I had to say, though. Y'all have a good day.
Yeah, appreciate it. 248-539-9797. Very, very impressive by them. Kang, anything stand out to you this weekend as far as in the context of the Lions?
Well, I think the obvious one is the offensive line. I mean, you watched Justin Herbert get destroyed yesterday. Josh Allen, they came through, but he's a big quarterback that's mobile. Like, you got to have an offensive line, and they got to take care of that if you're Lions. But outside of that, Doug, I think the coordinator position. Now, whoever they hired offensive coordinator is very big and maybe helping that offensive line with the missed assignments, right? And maybe just coaching up to play better as well. All the one-on-one battles that you have to win. I think this offensive coordinator position, I like how Dan Campbell's quick to be like, hey, if we got it wrong, we're switching. Anthony Lynn, they switch, right? John Morton, switch. Kind of got to get this one right here. You kind of got to get this one. It's a big one. So I think like when I look at the other teams in the league that are still in it, they got really good coordinators. Whether it's offense or defense, Robert Saleh looks like he's ready for another coaching gig now. Like people are going to be like, this guy's doing that with those players. Maybe he deserves a second chance.
Well, maybe, or he's just destined to be Josh McDaniels.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that, just if you find your niche, and there it is. But I was just going to say, I mean, does this weekend tell us that they should maybe look for a defensive coordinator?
So it's something we got a text here, and I want to read this because it kind of goes down that road. My takeaway from this weekend is that Dan Campbell needs to find professional coordinators. What Robert Saleh has done in San Francisco is nothing short of amazing. Also, look at the Jets defense with him, and then once he left the organization. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another opportunity as head coach. So that text mimics a lot of what Kang had to say.
The Jets also got rid of Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner.
Yes, but and they still went the whole season without an interception, which is pretty amazing. I don't necessarily disagree with this. Obviously, they're searching for the offensive coordinator. I think what you have to ask yourself about Calvin Shepard, and there's two things about it. One is don't fire somebody because you're mad. Like, don't have a punitive firing. You fire somebody and move on from somebody because you can get better. So when a staff gets relieved of their duties in Tennessee or Cleveland or Atlanta or wherever, right? You focus in and say, is there anyone from that staff that is now available and just got fired where the shortcomings were somebody else's problems, not theirs, potentially? Is there somebody I can bring in that's better than Calvin Shepard? They're not in the job of developing Calvin Shepard to be their defensive coordinator. They're in the job of winning the Super Bowl. And if somebody better is available, go for it.
Well, there could be. If this guy, and I don't know if he's interviewing for head coaching gigs anywhere else other than in Cleveland, but if my man Jim Schwartz is available, Jim Schwartz is an outstanding defensive coordinator. Outstanding defensive coordinator. Would you take him here in Detroit over Calvin Shepard?
Yes.
I would too. Kang, would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you got to look at. You got to look at all these head coaching openings. The guys who are fighting, their staffs are gone with them for the most part.
What if Brian Flores is available?
I'd 100% go for Brian Flores.
Raheem Morris is available.
You always look to upgrade your team, especially when you're in a win now mode with this kind of roster.
Yeah. So, that is what this texter brought up and Kang, you brought up is very valid. Don't be locked into Calvin Shepard if you can improve at that position. So just something to keep in mind. 248-539-9797. Karsch and Anderson here on 97.1.